Back to the charts with Big Boss Crypto, bringing out a day trading analysis on Bitcoin and on CHAINLINK. If you've been following these day trading updates on this channel, you know that I've been talking about we are about to dump to the downside because we had a lot of volume candles in this zone from 24k down to 20k, and we have them still going to 16k. But where do we go from here? Well, let's look at the charts. So if you watched my last day trading update, we were up in this zone right here, and I said to you we are accumulating possibly for another drop down, and the reason is because of the market maker structure, which started with a double top formation like this, confirmed when we broke this low. We went here, we had our first retrace, we had a second leg down, second retrace, and then we are currently in our third and final leg down in this impulsive move to the downside. And in order for us to solidify where the bottom is, I told you in my last video that we need to see a double bottom formation, and then price will reverse again to the upside in 3 steps like you saw in my last day trading update. However, I don't see any double bottom formation, and I'm not considering any longs until we create that. I took some profits on my short here at 21k because I thought that would possibly be a stalling area and I will wait for a double bottom formation. However, we are still continuing to drop, so I'm starting to scalp and waiting for the double bottom formation. So we could continue even lower. The next target to the downside is at 19,441. If we break that and continue lower, we could go all the way down to 18.8k. Break that, we could go down to 18.1k and 17.4k in the next impulsive move down. We are waiting for a double bottom formation, and that is where price will reverse. And it needs to be pretty clear. It has to look something like this. Let's say we continue to drop here, we get some news from the employment rates coming out in an hour. We drop to this area, we start next week with a small pump, and then we do something like this. And when we break this local high, that is where you want to go long, basically. So that is what I'm waiting for in order to set up my next trade. If we take a look at the news events, we can see that we have the non-farm employment change coming out in an hour, and that will probably rock the market. I think it could rock the market to the downside because we had the ADP non-farm employment change came out higher than expected, which means more people are in jobs, and that means a further pressure on the inflation rate, basically. So if we get anything above 224, that will be a problem for the Fed, and that means they will need to increase the rates even further than expected, and the market will react and drop to the downside most likely. If we take a look at the liquidation map, you can see that a lot of people are going short right now as we're dropping, and you know what that means. You know, the market maker sees this and he will grab this money to the upside whenever he gets the chance. However, it's not a lot of money in this zone. Yeah, we have 189 million at 22.2k, and we could possibly grab that liquidity in the coming weeks when we create a double bottom formation and reverse to the upside. However, we will probably move to the downside after today's news. We'll see what happens basically, but wait for double bottom formation if you want to go long. And we could grab this liquidity at 17.7 possibly, or we could go down even further. But first target is this liquidation point here at 17.7k. That is something that could happen during today and during next week. Before going to CHAINLINK, I do want to look at Nasdaq. The Nasdaq is the stock market, and basically the tech stocks in the US stock market, and you do want to look at, because it looks kind of similar to Bitcoin's price action. And as you can see, we didn't have as huge of a drop as Bitcoin did yesterday, and yeah, it's more or less due to the Silvergate. But as you know, news, they tend to happen at right timing, basically. That's usually the case when it comes to economic news events and the market reacting. So we could see a further drop on the Nasdaq going down to this zone right here. And if we break the zone at 11.8k, we could move down even further, grabbing this liquidity down here and filling these orders, because we have a lot of unfilled candles in this zone right here, which could possibly be the local bottom for the Nasdaq if nothing unforeseen happens. So that's something I'm looking at. Let's look at Chainlink and wrap this up. As you can see, Chainlink has been dropping severely, and I told you in my last day trading update we created a nice double top formation in this zone. We moved down and created our second retrace, and then we are currently in our third and final leg down. So if we zoom in a bit, we can see that we are still looking to fill these orders in this zone at 5.849. If we break that and go even further, we could bottom out here at $5.6, and that is where we could possibly create a double bottom formation. When we do that, because we will do it at some point, it's not sure when, but when you see something like this happen, we could create it even here. There is a huge opportunity to go long on Chainlink. Look at these volume candles to the upside. You could make a nice long and grab a lot of money if we create this double, or when we create this double bottom and reverse to the upside. That's something I'm looking at and waiting for. And yeah, price is stalling before the news, so we could drop even further, create this kind of pattern, and then shift to the upside during next week. That's it for today's trading update. I hope you learned something today. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see each other next week. Big Boss out.